fragile, robust. Be careful not to drop it, it's very fragile. I need to buy a tall and robust stool for the kitchen. Careful, careless. Be careful not to overload the washing machine. It was careless of me to leave the door open. Bored, interested. Some children get bored very quickly. I've always been interested in music. Intentional, accidental. Let me assure you that it was not intentional. Our meeting in New York was totally accidental. Selfish, selfless. Her selfish behaviour completely spoiled the evening. She will be remembered for her selfless devotion to the cause. Willing, unwilling. She's always willing to help out. They are unwilling to invest any more money in the project. Avoidable, unavoidable. Running out of petrol is annoying and easily avoidable. The manager said the job losses were unavoidable. Nervous, calm. It's perfectly normal to be nervous before a performance. She's so calm, nothing seems to faze her. Pessimistic, optimistic. The mood of the meeting was distinctly pessimistic. I'm very optimistic about our chances of success. Fashionable, unfashionable. It's becoming fashionable to have long hair again. They live in an unfashionable part of London. Convenient, inconvenient. You'll find these meals quick and convenient to prepare. It must have been inconvenient for everyone. Simple, difficult. There's no simple solution to this problem. He was finding it increasingly difficult to make decisions. Popular, unpopular. She's the editor of a popular woman's magazine. It was a painful and unpopular decision. Blunt, sharp. She was cutting the bread with a blunt knife. Trim off the excess pastry using a sharp knife. Available, unavailable. Tickets are available from the box office. Funding for the new school is unavailable. Flexible, rigid. Many mothers prefer flexible working hours. He is rigid about points of procedure. Sensitive, insensitive. She is very sensitive to other people's feelings. It bothers me that he can be so insensitive. Loose, tight. She is wearing a long and loose dress. These trousers are a bit tight around my waist. Constant, inconstant. He was in constant physical pain. Work was equally inconstant and low paid. Clean, dirty. The apartment was spotlessly clean. He left a tray of dirty cups in the sink. Capable, incapable. The engineer is capable of handling the problem. She seemed incapable of forming any relationships. Full, empty. The rubbish bin is full of rubbish. She put down her empty cup on the table. Helpful, unhelpful. You may find it helpful to read this before making any decisions. The shop assistant was rude and unhelpful. Compassionate, heartless. My father was a deeply compassionate man. I couldn't believe they were so heartless. Logical, illogical. I'm sure there is a logical explanation for all this. The current rules are illogical and unnecessary. Thick, thin. His coat was covered with thick brown mud. Cut the vegetables into thin strips. Acceptable, unacceptable. Such behaviour is not acceptable in this school. I found her attitude totally unacceptable. Deep, shallow. He dug a deep hole in the garden. Serve the noodles in a shallow bowl. Conspicuous, inconspicuous. The notice must be displayed in a conspicuous place. I'll try to be as inconspicuous as possible. Able, unable. You should be able to evaluate your own work. They were unable to gain admittance to the hall. Honest, dishonest. Are you being completely honest about your feelings? Beware of dishonest traders in the tourist areas. Dark, light. There was a dark smudge on his forehead. All the bedrooms are light and airy. Cheap, expensive. I got a cheap flight at the last minute. She was wearing an expensive new outfit. Pleasant, unpleasant. He was a pleasant man but didn't talk much. I found her manner extremely unpleasant. Bad, good. A bad diet can cause health problems. We ate at a good restaurant last night. Satisfied, unsatisfied. Are you satisfied with your new car? The unsatisfied workers are rioting in the streets. Hot, cold. It was hot inside the classroom. I woke up in the night feeling cold. Common, uncommon. These two species share a common set of characteristics. Side effects from the drug are uncommon. Curly, straight. Both my parents have curly brown hair. He made sure his tie was straight. Short, tall. She wore a red dress and had short brown hair. He is tall, broad, and muscular. Tidy, messy. They sat in her neat and tidy kitchen. The children got really messy playing in the woods. Complete, incomplete. Here is the complete list of courses offered by the university. The decision was based on incomplete information. Big, small. They stood under a big tree. The bedroom was small and quiet. Toxic, non-toxic. These factories are releasing toxic gases into the atmosphere. The wall was decorated with non-toxic paint. Bitter, sweet. The medicine had a slightly bitter taste. I would like a cup of hot, sweet tea. Expensive, inexpensive. She was wearing an expensive new outfit. The furniture is inexpensive but well made. Young, old. The young boy enjoys playing football. The old man had a nap in the afternoon. Vertical, horizontal. The illustration shows a vertical line. Draw a horizontal line across the bottom of the page. Wet, dry. A small green snake slithered across the wet road. I need to change into some dry clothes. Nice, nasty. That's not a nice thing to say. The news gave me a nasty shock. Sufficient, insufficient. We can only prosecute if there is sufficient evidence. There was insufficient evidence to convict him. Noisy, quiet. The streets were noisy and full of activity. We live in a very quiet street. Wrong, right. Unfortunately, that was the wrong answer. Well done. That was the right answer. Open, closed. He climbed through the open window. The office is closed at the weekend. Dangerous, safe. You shouldn't fool around with dangerous chemicals. The plane made a safe landing. Obedient, disobedient. As a child, she was obedient and truthful. I was very disobedient towards my father. Beautiful, ugly. She was a very beautiful woman. The child is frightened by the ugly man. Friendly, unfriendly. She smiled again in a friendly manner. The driver's manner was very unfriendly. Patient, impatient. She's very patient with young children. He gave another impatient glance at his watch. Happy, sad. James came in looking happy and excited. He wept when he heard the sad news. Useful, useless. The guide is crammed full of useful information. A car is useless without petrol. Rational, irrational. It's impossible to have a rational conversation with him. His parents were worried by his increasingly irrational behaviour. Rough, smooth. The rough road made the car vibrate. Whip the ingredients into a smooth paste. Accurate, inaccurate. The brochure tries to give a fair and accurate description of each hotel. Figures quoted in the article are wildly inaccurate. Active, inactive. He was active in organising student meetings. Some animals are inactive during the daytime. Tired, energetic. I'm feeling tired after that long walk. I'm feeling quite energetic today. Polite, impolite. She has always been very polite in her dealings with me. It is impolite to point at people. Efficient, inefficient. Dolphins are incredibly graceful and efficient swimmers. Existing methods of production are expensive and inefficient. Cowardly, Brave. He was a weak and cowardly man. He was commended for his brave actions. Lucky. Unlucky. You're very lucky to be alive after that accident. This has been an unlucky year for me. Ambitious. Unambitious. Only ambitious students get the best marks. He was a reliable and unambitious officer who did as he was told. Wild. Tame. The woods are inhabited by many wild animals. The bird became so tame that it was hard to release it back into the wild. Strong. Weak. He overcame a strong temptation to run away. The dance left her feeling breathless and weak. Practical. Impractical. He is a practical man and doesn't like small talk. He rejected my suggestion as impractical. Consistent. Inconsistent. His action is always consistent with his words. Her academic performance has been inconsistent. Visible. Invisible. The smoke from the fire was visible from the road. He wished that he could make himself invisible. Decisive. Indecisive. She has played a decisive role in the peace negotiations. He came across as a weak and indecisive leader. Respectful. Disrespectful. He was always respectful of my independence. They shouldn't treat their mother in this disrespectful way.